Hola, hola, ¿qué tal?
Perfecto.
Bueno, así como se dan cuenta, no solamente es el micrófono, sino que también tenemos luz nueva aquí y hasta incluso podemos grabar en otro ángulo. Así que maravilloso, muchas gracias a toda la gente que se suscribe al canal y esta es solamente la introducción para la entrevista que tuvimos hace un par de días nomás con Troy Donockley, guitarrista y multiinstrumentista, parte de Nightwish, que lanzan un disco en una semana, poquito menos, ahora el 20 de septiembre, Yesterwynde,
Ah, debe ser griego.
ya lo sabrán. Ahora, al inicio de la entrevista, Troy nos contó harto detallito también sus influencias musicales y mucho más. Así que es un imperdible para todos los fans del metal sinfónico. También dijo que posiblemente Nightwish venga luego y luego se retractó, así que atentos, quizás viene algún anuncio. Y nada, dejarlos ahora cordialmente invitados a que vean la entrevista completa. Es un poquito larga, pero de verdad que vale la pena. Por supuesto, muchas gracias a toda la gente que nos ve. Agradecerle también a Horrified Distro que nos regaló este tremendo discazo Swan Song de Carcass. Clasicazo, Carcass es una de mis bandas favoritas, así que yo feliz con el regalo de Horrified Distro. Y bueno, nada más, sigan suscribiéndose. Esta semana se viene harto cargada de noticias, novedades, entrevistas, así que atentos al planeta del rock.
Señores, el día de hoy estamos con Troy Donockley, parte de Nightwish, que lanzan un disco en una semanita más. Yesterwynde, how I pronounce that?
Yesterwynde.
Yesterwynde. I was right the first time.
You
Okay.
were.
Well, Troy, nice to meet you. How are you doing tonight?
Very well, Samuel. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine here. Well, here it's only 3 in the afternoon, so it's sunny.
Of course.
Yeah, but
Wonderful.
yeah, and it's
Is the weather good?
yeah. Well, I like this weather because we're in winter. It's sunny, but it's not that warm, so it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I'm wearing a t-shirt because
So I
yeah,
see.
I'm a crazy man.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, well, I need to ask you about this Yesterwine because, well, with the 3 first singles, for me, it's like this is a concept album. I don't know if I'm right or wrong with that.
You are. You are
Wow,
very right. Yeah.
great. And how's the story behind this album then?
The story itself is broken into lots of pieces. It's into lots of songs, but all of the songs are all connected by the theme of time. And Yesterwind itself, the word, it relates to time. We had to invent the word to describe a feeling that myself and Thomas had when looking at old film from the late part of the last century, as in 1890s, around that period, and the likes of Peter Jackson's fabulous reconstruction of the First World War footage in his film "They Shall Never Grow Old." Have you seen that?
No, no, I haven't.
You need to see it. It's extraordinary. But when you adjust the frame rate of old film, because you'll know this when you look at old film from the 1910 through to 1920, it's all very fast. Everyone's
Hmm.
moving really fast, so it gives you the sense that you're not looking at real people. It's like it's coming from another time. But if you adjust the frame rate and then you color it and digitally restore the
Hmm.
film, it looks like it was from last week. And then you get a strange, overwhelming sense of history and of time of your ancestors. And that was the feeling that really excited us. The deep feeling of connection to our past, our history and our ancestors. And that's why we had to invent a word. So we invented the word Yesterwind, and that is to describe that feeling. And that is the concept behind the album. Although it sounds loose, the from the beginning of the album to the very end, it's all tied together in various ways. But we know what it's like with Nightwish fans. Nightwish fans aren't your normal music fans.
Hmm.
They don't. Nightwish fans go into the music deeply. They go in deep. They're, in my experience, Nightwish fans are very engaged and excited about deeper issues and deeper subjects. That's been my experience of Nightwish fans, and this album is probably the deepest of them all. And I'm sure that when the fans take the voyage, they'll come out at the other end and they'll completely understand what we meant by it.
Yeah, well, you're talking about the depth of each album, and yeah, I remember Imaginarum or Human to Nature as really deep albums, and you're saying that this is deeper than the other ones. Um, can you compare at least the previous one, Human to Nature, to this one?
Well, actually, I wouldn't say it's deeper than the other two. I mean, it is the third part of the trilogy, so they are all related. I wouldn't say they're deeper. It's deeper, but I would say it's more expansive than the other two. It's even wider in its palette, in its musical makeup, and more diverse, even if that's the right word. But it is definitely a continuation with important themes about human life, important themes about this world that we live in, which we felt compelled to explore with endless forms of most beautiful and human nature. And Yesterwynde, if we look at the other two albums, as Endless Forms was life at its most ancient, through evolution and through natural selection. And then we move into Human Nature, which is more to do with humanity's connection to these subjects. And then the final part, Yesterwynde, is time itself and the human experience of time. I think it all starts to make sense. It might be a good idea, Samuel, to listen to all three of them, one after the other. Yeah.
Oh,
that might work. I must try that, actually.
yeah. Well, I will next week. Yeah, because it's not available, but I will.
you have to. You have to.
Yeah, I will be looking forward for the release then, so I can make a playlist and yeah.
Sit yourself down with a lovely bottle of wine and
Yeah.
get those headphones on and go right from the beginning. It's a wonderful thing because the beginning of the album starts with a film projector, an old film projector firing up, an old. It's exactly, and it's from the 1930s, so it's got age, and it's like. And then a choir comes in and it's beautiful. And then we go on a massive voyage of 70 odd minutes. And then when we come out the other end, the last thing that you'll hear is the sound of the film running out. When it just stops. And then you're left in space, suspended after the journey through time. So you'll get it, but again, this is something that's fine for Nightwish fans, because Nightwish fans don't expect a 3-minute long song about, oh, my baby's left me, I'm so sad because my baby's gone. Nightwish fans don't expect that from us, and they don't expect songs about partying and all that kind of thing. It's just not what we are. So
I know.
you do know. So it's wonderful in that respect, in that we're playing to our sensitive audience, and our sensitive audience would expect nothing less than a journey, than a voyage into inner space.
Yeah. And how was the writing process of this album? Because I know you're trying to keep with this kind of music for your fans and obviously for the band. But how was the writing process, and how long did you take to write and record this album?
Well, the most important thing with the Nightwish album is inspiration. How inspired we all are. Obviously, Thomas writes the songs, so once he gets inspired as well, then we begin. We begin and we start, and from there it's a process of discovery. Really, we discover what is needed. We listen to the subject matter. We listen to what's being said, and then we act accordingly with music. It's quite an extraordinary pattern that we follow, but we all come together in a place called Ruska, which is our camp in Finland on the side of a lake. It's beautiful. We're right in the middle of nowhere, and it's just nothing but nature there. We've got a lovely fire pit, and we've got which we cook on, and we've got lots of lovely wine and lots of lovely beer, and we sit and we spend weeks together, working on the music, arranging the music, and it's very open and it's very free, and again, you know, a lot of people think, oh, Thomas as the songwriter, does he demand that everybody does exactly what he wants? No, never. Thomas is the most open musician that I know. You know, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. You know, he truly is honest in everything he does. So when you get those song ideas in their most basic form, and then you bring them to Ruska in that environment, magical things happen. Wow. And that's what happened.
That's super great. Now I need to know a place like that. No,
yeah, it is. It is a very special place, and it's very Nightwish. You know, it's where we realize the music. It's where the music really comes alive, and it's where it's born, really.
Yeah, well, that's the way
if you use the metaphor, if you use the metaphor of Thomas goes through the pregnancy, and we deliver the baby, that's kind of what we do.
Yeah. Well, in the way you're saying how is the place, it keeps reminding me of some artwork of some albums of Nightwish. So I'm like, wow.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Well, and for you, Troy, how was the thing of changing from a guest musician on Dark Passion Play and on till uh being a full-time musician in the band?
Well, you know, Samuel, that was none of it was planned. I met the band in 2007, or was it? It was the end of 2006, a long time ago now. And I was invited to play on 3 songs on Dark Passion Play, purely as a session musician, as you said, and we instantly connected. You know, we connected. Nightwish has always had a very eclectic approach to music. It's never been your standard metal band at all. I mean, even in the early days, it was never the usual. So, but by the time of Dark Passion Play, it was starting to really come alive and become something really interesting. And to me, I'd heard once, and I thought, this is really interesting, because I thought, my friend Pip Williams did the orchestrations for that album, and he sent me the CD. He said, have a listen to this band I'm working with in Finland. I went, oh yeah, what is it? And he went, they're like a metal band. I went, what you mean? Is it like, what's it like? Is it like Anthrax or Slayer or something? He went, no, it's nothing like that at all. He said, just check it out. He said, I think you'll really love it, because he knew the kind of music I was into, which was quite progressive music. So he sent it to me, and it really hit me. I thought, I've never heard anything like this. This is really, really good. And then a couple of years later, I got the call. Do you remember that band from Finland? I went, oh yeah. Oh, well, they'd love you to come and play. I went, oh, I'll be there. I'll do it. So I went, I met them, I hit it off big time with them. And then they invited me to do some showcase gigs with them. And I ended up going to America to do a few. And then it just grew from there. But then I went and made it really difficult for myself. From Imaginarium, I made it difficult for myself because I revealed that I didn't just play the pipes. And it was like, oh, hang on a minute. So you can do electric guitars as well, and acoustic guitars, and some percussion, and you can do some singing. You can do. And I went, well, yeah. So then I went from traveling with one case to traveling with to traveling with 15 cases. But it was my own fault. So then, by the end of the Imaginarium tour, when Floor came in as well, the pair of us, it went so wonderfully, the tour, and the direction Nightwish was moving in, it was going deeper and deeper and moving into wonderfully strange waters that really interested me. When they asked if the pair of us would like to join as full-time members, this is in 2013, I think, it was no question. It was like, absolutely. But it changed everything, really, because I didn't expect to join the band full time. I thought I'll just dance around on the periphery. I'll jump in and out and have fun with my friends. But then I thought, no, this is definitely the direction. This is where I want to go. I want to go on this ride with my friends, this journey, and it's been wonderful ever since. I mean, this is 12 years now, near enough, nearly, 11 years. But I mean, I was there from 2007, so it's quite a bit longer than that. But as a full-time member, it's that, and I've enjoyed every single step of it. I love it.
And that's super great and super funny that the first metal band you mentioned is Anthrax, because that was my first tattoo here, Anthrax. It was like,
but here's the thing. No, but Samuel, listen to this. But wait, you've got to hear this. You've got to hear this. Somebody asked me this the other night. A journalist in Germany, was how being in Nightwish has changed my view of metal. Right now, I never had a negative view of metal. To me, metal was always sort of related to progressive rock. I saw a lot of it as very related. And when I was a kid, there was quite a bit of the new wave of British heavy metal that I liked. There was some stuff that I liked, Diamond Head and some of that stuff. And other bizarre stuff like Tigers of Pantang and really obscure. Oh, do you know them? Tigers of Pantang?
Of course.
Yeah, well, Tigers of Pantang and things like that I really liked. So I was always one step towards diving into metal. But when I met Nightwish, that's when I fully realized that metal has a purity to it. The genre itself is full of the world's biggest musical enthusiasts. It's a family. It's like a universe to itself. And I've spent so much time in it now that it's part of me. And Anthrax, I love Anthrax now. Anthrax, and I love the big three. They're all they're fantastic, and even extreme stuff. I mean, Cannibal Corpse and Cradle of Filth. I find it all exhilarating. It's So this is something that I discovered along the way over the last 12 years. So I'm grateful for that.
That's super cool. Yeah, and well, some of the bands that you mentioned, like Diamond Head or Tigers of Pantang, I can add Raven and Budgie. Those bands of the new, of course,
I saw Budgie when I was 14.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw them in my town, in my local town. Budgie were playing, and my dad took me to see them when I was 14, and it blew my mind.
It's super great, and all of these bands of the new wave of British heavy metal don't have maybe all of this Metallica and Slayer or Megadeth are mentioning them like, no, those are my biggest influences, but it's not a reason like because of that they are going to have a million fans. It's no, they are there and they are happy with their contribution to the modern metal, and that's it. I met John Raven in Mexico City 2 months ago, and he was like, "Yeah, I played in a club for maybe 100 people, and I'm happy with the results. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's the beauty of that's the beauty of the scene. The scene is, I mean, I've seen metal, some pretty. I mean, I saw Diamond Head in a bar when I was a kid, when I was about 16,
Wow.
and I saw lots of those bands, and it was always in tiny venues, but they were so powerful. It was like you could really see that there was something big going on.
Yeah.
And of course, Diamond Head went to heavily influence Metallica.
Uh-huh.
You know, Metallica were massively influenced by Diamond Head, and other stuff like Motorhead and other. Me and Marco, our old bass player, talk about this stuff because he was seriously into the new wave of British heavy metal and bands like UFO and Angel Witch and stuff like that. Really,
yeah.
really bizarre,
Yeah.
fringe stuff. And
Satan.
yeah,
Of course.
and Venom, Venom as well, which invented black metal, I suppose. So there's a wonderful melting pot out there, and the influences just spread out across the whole scene, and everyone loves it. And that's what I love about the metal scene is it's a very devoted audience, and I love that about the metal scene.
And about Latin America, how do you find the metal scene itself? How do you see it all the times that you come here with Nightwish?
Well, it's the metal scene to its logical conclusion. South America, they're the wildest. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. There's such a power and energy of love of the music in South America, which is like nowhere else. Because a lot of other places, in the West, are a bit more reserved. I mean, they still really go for it, but nothing like the South American audience. The South American audience are just crazy, and beautiful and very respectful and just lovely and pleasant as well. Like when you head to the airport after a show in Santiago, you'll find lots of fans waiting in the airport, and they're beautiful. They're just very quiet and respectful, and they come up and go, "Oh, could you just can we get a selfie?" And you go, "Of course, of course." And it's so very natural, the music scene in South America. And the other great thing about South America is you get lots and lots of wonderful souvenirs. My music room, my studio is full of South American souvenirs. It's full of them. In fact, if you just wait there, look at this.
Oh,
right? It's some panpipes. Look, with the human nature, and this was all hand painted. This was by some wonderful guy in Peru, and well, you see, I've got lots of this stuff. I could show you lots and lots and lots of stuff, and I got this peanut pen in Argentina. I've got lots of souvenirs, Samuel. Lots of souvenirs.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of South America.
That's super cool. Well, I'd never seen a peanut pen, so I was like, what is that?
It's a pen in the shape of a peanut. I mean, only a South American fan would give you that.
Yeah. Anywhere else you can find that.
Nowhere else. It won't happen anywhere.
Yeah. Well, and I know about these South American fans. Well, I've been to some tours across the continent, and and everyone is the same in Mexico, Guatemala, Brazil. And it's like super nervous about meeting you, and it's like maybe they are so nervous that they didn't even say hi. It's like, can you please?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You get the whole spectrum of reactions in South America. Sometimes it's a case of the person just can't speak and just stares blankly and doesn't say anything and just gives you a CD to sign. And then other times it's like, wah, wah, and they're hugging you, and it's you get everything. It's wonderful.
Yeah, well, I remember only once being frozen like that. It was with Stratovarius because it was one of my favorite bands, and I was like 20 years old, and it was really like suddenly they were here, and it was like,
Yeah.
no, no,
Yeah.
no, no way, no way. But after that, I as I'm working on this, it's like, hey, bro.
Well, that's it, and you see, none of us can escape. Again, this is a bit Yesterwynde, but none of us can escape our past and our admiration of our heroes. None
Yeah,
of us, and you get, like Steve Harris from Iron Maiden,
yeah.
he'll talk about meeting, Jeff Beck back in the day and not being able to speak, because he was so amazed. And yeah, it happens to all of us. It happened to me when I met Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin as
Oh,
well.
wow.
But it's these things just happen.
Yeah, just happened. And well, I actually have a question about your beginnings. Uh, and who were your influences to become an artist?
Well, apart from my dad, who was a musician who brought me up on the most varied musical diet, from country music through rock music, progressive rock music, to classical music. I had the lot from him. But I think the biggest life-changing moments were around the age of 11 and 12. When I was 11, I got the album Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd.
Mm.
And as an 11-year-old, it just blew my mind completely. So from then on, I thought, this is where I want to go. I want to go into this. I want to explore more of this. So from then, I moved into everything, classical music. I loved classical music, film soundtracks. The first album I ever bought was the soundtrack to Jaws, the film Jaws.
Oh, great.
That was my first album, Samuel.
Oh,
My first record ever. Well, I bought a single before that. I bought the single of ABBA, Waterloo,
perfect.
when I was about 10. But from then on, yeah, it was Floyd, a lot of Floyd, Zeppelin. I was heavily into Led Zeppelin. A few other of the classic rock, Free as well, Bad Company, all that stuff. I was
I,
heavily into.
I really knew that you were mentioning Bad Company after Free. I don't know why. It was like, yeah.
You
Of
know
course.
me. You
Yeah.
know me. So all of that stuff when I was a kid, I was listening to that, and the Sweet and all that glam stuff, David Bowie, and then Yes and Genesis and all, right up to Budgie and all that stuff. So all of that filtered into me and through me, and then I got heavily into traditional music, traditional British and Irish music. So I was listening to lots of that as well. Lots of Mike Oldfield. I was a big Mike Oldfield fan. Tubular Bells and Omadhawn and all of that stuff. And it all filtered through me and set me. It made my shoes. All of that music built my shoes, which I put my feet into, and off I went onto the road that I'm still traveling on now.
Yeah, and it's well, starting with Pink Floyd and Genesis, and it was like, wow. Well, because all of those bands were in that, like the here on that time, like the
Oh man!
Foxtrot from Genesis.
Oh wow!
Yeah, yeah. Well, Uriah Heep. You got the Who.
Uriah Heep.
Yeah, of course. And so,
That's right.
ah,
And also another one, Samuel. Don't forget Jethro Tull
get what?
as well.
Yeah,
I was a
Aqualung.
massive Tull fan as well.
Wow, those albums are wow. Big as a brick,
Timeless.
Aqualung.
Oh, Thick as
Yeah,
a Brick and Aqualung. And what
yeah,
about Songs from the Wood and Stormwatch and Heavy Horse?
yeah.
All brilliant
Oh,
albums.
oh man. Oh,
You
I
have got a
think
superb taste in music, you have.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Rush, and
But
Rush.
it's funny. It's funny, isn't it? That on Rush as well.
Yeah.
Rush. I forgot about Rush. I mean, Rush were a massive influence on me. And Kaitsu in our drummer. in Nightwish, huge Rush fan.
Oh,
You know,
I love
he can
Rush.
play. He can play every Rush album
Oh.
on his drums. So
No.
we're all coming from the same place. And again, it's the spirit of metal, isn't it? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all coming from the same area. And this is something I've done the other way around. You know, I started on all of that and then eventually got into all the metal as well. And it's all swirling around in me now. And it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's super great. Yeah, well, and well, we get half an hour of talking, and
Yeah.
well, Zoom is warning me about the time is running out. So, well, thank you so much for this interview. I enjoyed it a lot.
It's
And
been wonderful. It's been wonderful, and I could talk to you for another
yeah,
half
I
an
know.
hour
Me too.
easily. We could bore each other with all of our
Yeah.
favorite fanboy moments from
Yeah.
Jethro Tull albums and Pink Floyd and Anthrax, of course. And
Yeah,
Anthrax.
of course, Anthrax.
But listen, one day, Samuel, will meet. When it comes for the time for us to finally come back out again and play, if we're coming to Santiago, get in touch with me through the record company or through our management.
Yeah, okay.
And you can buy me a nice glass of Malbec, a really nice Chilean Malbec.
Yeah, yeah, I will.
We shall sit and talk about classic rock.
Yeah, and yeah, that will be. Yeah, of course. Well, and you have a special message for your fans here in Latin America. Well, looking forward for the album.
Yeah, Latin America. Hopefully, you will be the first place when we return for us to play live, because Latin America is so close to our hearts. Santiago, beautiful place, and some of the wildest, wonderful, most beautiful fans of music on earth. So we'll see you down the road sometime soon.
Great. Is there any chance of a Latin American tour? No, like anytime soon?
We shall have to wait and see.
Oh, okay.